Hey y'all, it's Margo from Just Living Life Homestead. I wanted to stop by. We are making, this is a how to make pickled beet eggs. They're like the red eggs you see sitting in grocery stores or in a gas station. I am going to show you right now real quickly. I just washed my eggs. I am using duck eggs. And I washed them and I'm getting ready to put them in the pot and I'm going to boil them, and then I'll take y'all through what the ingredients that I do to put them in the jar. But for now, I just wanted to show y'all a little something on hints, tips and tricks on how to know how old your eggs are and how soon to use them depending on their age. Alright, well, I've got my pot here, and I had them in this one and realized I'm doing 2 dozen eggs, so I realized that there was going to be not enough space to put all the eggs for them to cook. Now, as you can tell, this is as flat as I can get it here. I have the eggs that are in here so far. And all of them are, you can tell, they are flat to the bottom. All but this one. Let's see if we can show that one from here. Now, if they're flat, they're a week or less old. If they start poking up towards the top a little bit, then they're going to be between 1 week and, say, 3 weeks old. They're still good. You still can use them. There's no problems. Anything that will go through all of them, make sure they're all good, that they're within the last couple of weeks. I believe that they're all at least 2 weeks old. So yeah, up to 2 weeks, they're going to be laying flat. Anything over 2 weeks, they're going to have that slight tilt that one and this one has. Let's see if I can show you from the side here. I don't have a glass jar that I could show you. There we go. You can see where it's tilting up some, and that one's coming up just a little bit. And that just shows that the eggs are older than 2 weeks old. This one here, trying to come up just a little bit, so it's over 2 weeks old. And like I said, they're still good. They're all doing good. Let's move these. I got 2 more here. I'll put them in. And they're laying flat. I got a couple more to go. Let's put these 2 in. And those are laying flat. Hoping I'm going to have enough room in this pot. There we go. They're laying flat. I got 4 more eggs to fit in here. Let's move them so y'all can see. They're laying flat, so they're 2 weeks or less. I swear they are older than 2 weeks. Let me move a couple of these eggs just so I can make sure. Now see, this one here is wanting to do a little floating towards the edge, like bobbing up and down. And so it's probably older than 2 weeks. But on the base, most of these eggs, put him back down in there. He just got shoved over. On the most part, all my eggs are somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks old. They're very viable. You can use these. I've had them out on my where I put all my canned goods at. And this just shows you that your eggs, you can keep them out. They've been staying cool. I didn't wash them because my ducks are nasty little critters. like I was saying, my ducks are nasty little critters. They don't want me to get their eggs, so they have been taking them and hiding them in the hay that's on the ground. I keep trying to find it, move hay, move fresh hay there, change their hay out, but they keep pushing them down to the bottom. They don't want me to get them. They want to lay on them. I don't want them to lay on them because I don't believe that they will stay laying on them. I've never had them do it before, and I might try it here soon, but I don't know, because they've never showed that I look out there and they're not usually laying where they've laid the eggs, so I'm pretty sure that they're just trying to keep me away from their eggs. They tend to give me an Easter egg hunt every time I go out there. So, I have my pot. Went ahead and got my pot going. And, I don't know if you can see, but I have it on, where's my hand? There we go. Medium heat there. And I will just bring it to a boil. And let them boil for a few minutes. And then I'll cut it off, let them cool a little bit. And then I'll put them in an ice bath. My fridge door doesn't like to stay shut. I will put them in an ice bath and then put them back in the water that they originally were boiled in. And hopefully I will be able to peel these better than the last ones, because the last ones did not work with me very well. They peeled, but half of them lost that outer lining, so it basically come out looking like a regular chicken egg. But I will be back in a little bit, and I will show y'all the rest of the steps for how I make my pickled beet eggs. Talk to y'all soon. Bye now. Alright, y'all. I'm back, and the eggs have boiled, and I'm going to drain them. I have a pot here with a strainer, and I'm going to strain them in the pot where I'm draining the hot water back into them, and then I'm going to take them and put them in this bowl for just a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. This is a bowl full of water with about 2 ice trays full of ice. It's going to tighten the inside of the egg up, and then I'm going to put it back in the hot water, and I'll be cracking the shells and using the cold water to be able to rinse the eggs off. And I'll put them in my clean washed jar when I'm getting done with them. Now I'll show y'all 1 or 2 eggs, whether they come peeled or not, just so that you can see that even if they don't peel right like they're supposed to, and things happen, that it's all part of it. But as long as you're willing to eat it the way it is, what does it matter? It doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to look pretty. This is all about how to do this. You'll know how to do it, and if you know how to get eggs to the eggshells come off perfect, hands down to you. I usually have the worst time. So, let's get started with this. It's still very, very hot, so when you do that, the water's still almost at boiling temperature still. Be very careful. If your pan is still really hot, use some oven mitts or gloves to make sure that you don't burn yourself. Which I might get one here for just in case for the bottom side of it. And it's not going to matter that the eggs, or some of them might crack. They hit each other and go down in there. Actually, that might actually help in the long run with getting them cracked. This is one of my favorite pots. And it has that bottom piece in it, which is very convenient when it comes to canning. So now, what I'm going to do is, I have this just like this. My eggs are all drained out into that. I'm going to place them in this ice pack. And not to lose my eggs. I'm going to let them all not fall out, or not, or will. Here, just for 30 seconds or a minute. Let them sit down in here real quick. Kind of get all of them to get some cold water on them for more than just 5 seconds. This also is supposed to help with stopping any cooking that happens and to take that inner barrier and help tighten it up, because when it's boiling it expands, and this will help tighten it up. And supposedly, you'll see, with chicken eggs I know it works, but with duck eggs it didn't work for me the last time, but we're going to try this again. So this will be something that we will all see and learn together. It should be long enough. Drain all that off of there. Now, is it just me, or do some of these eggs look like they have a little bit of a green tint? I really do think they do. Now, I'm placing back in the warm water, very warm, and I have a scoop that has these holes in it. I use it for things like this and whatever else I need to take out that needs to drain off almost completely. And I'll take 1 or 2 at a time here. I'm not going to do all 24 here on video, but I just wanted to show you, see if this works. And it did not with this one. It is peeling off the first layer of egg. Not all of it. But a lot of the first layer. And that is just fine. Oh, see? It took the inner layer. So it sort of looks like, my hand off here, and this layer off. Almost looks like an odd chicken egg. Still with a white layer on it. But instead of having like a 2 layers on it, it just has the 1. And I'll place it in there, and I'll try one more. And I like to try to make sure that they are cracked at both the bottom end and the top end to aim to try to peel it off from those ends, because sometimes that works better for me. This egg seems to be peeling a little bit better, but it's still taking chunks out. And it looks like I'm going to be losing that layer. So, and this in here, actually the layer when it come off, you can see the egg yolk in there. Still tastes good. And then I'll put it in there. So, if I get any that come out looking okay, that actually look like they're supposed to, I will either take a picture of them or I will save them and show them to you when I get ready to start putting the beets and the the sweetener in there. And I'm not going to be using regular sugar. I'm going to be using a stevia. I bought it from Kroger's. I used it to make my sugar-free orange marmalade the other day. And the same thing, I'm going to be using it for these beets. They're going to be sugar-free. So it's something you can think about if you're trying to watch your sugar intake, you're trying to watch how many carbs you're taking in, and you like pickled beet eggs. This is one way of doing it. And I personally will be leaving. I got the shoelace or shredded beets, and I leave them in there. For me, it seems like it works better. I'll be right back. Hi y'all, I'm back, and I have my eggs peeled and in my jar, and I wanted to show you. I have about 9 eggs that I was able to get peeled without having very much damage done to them. This one had maybe a little piece come off the edge, but I wanted to show y'all that out of 24, I only got 9 that didn't have really hardly any or much damage. The rest of them either lost a big chunk, or they lost a little chunk, or they lost the whole layer, first layer. Alright, well, let's try this again. Looks like I'm trying to cut off part of my head here, and I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to get this in there, and my tripod is not working with me. So I have all my eggs, and the recipe that I'm using is not my own, but I am tweaking a little bit of my own. I got it from Taste of Home, from tasteofhome.com, pickled eggs with beets. And it's really, really simple. You're going to take, it calls for 12 eggs, and I have 24 duck eggs. And it calls for 2 cans of beets, and I'm using these shoestring beets from Kroger's. I'm going to put all the liquids and the water and the vinegar and sweetener all in a container, mix it up, and then pour it in there. So there's 2 cans of the shoestring beets that I'm using. You can use any kind of beets. You can cook beets and put them in there. I don't know how it would work if you used just raw beets. I think they actually have to be cooked, but that's something that, you know, I can look into if somebody's interested in knowing about, seeing if it's possible that you can actually use raw beets and slice them up and put them in there, because you're using them for the flavor. So I have the 2 cans. They are also, I don't know if you've seen that, but they are 15 ounces each. And then 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. It calls for 2 cups of water. Now this is for, I'm doubling what it says for the recipe. On the recipe it says 12 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of vinegar, and 1 cup of water. Now I'm using a bottle of water. It's cold, and just because I didn't want to use my tap water. I use my tap water all the time. It does have the chemicals in it from the city, so I try not to use it if I can help it, and I use a lot of bottled water. So I'm going to add that in there. So there was two cans of the beets and 2 cups of vinegar, and And then I am going to add my sweetener. And normally for a single batch, it calls for 1 cup of sugar. So I am going to add 2 cups. I have a spoon in there of my Kroger granulated no-calorie stevia. I opened up a second bag for just in case. It looks like I might need just a little bit. I like it a little bit sweeter, and being that it's no calorie, it really helps. Especially because I know my daughter likes them too, so she'll be wanting to come down and eat them when they come down to visit. And they had that stomach surgery, which both of them had lost over 100 pounds. Over, both of them. She's down to like 190 or 195 or less, last count, and he's down to like 250. I mean, they're doing amazing. So if I can make something that's healthier for me, but it's also healthier for my family, you know, my daughter-in-law, she's been trying to do more keto or low carb for their family, for my son and grandson. So even though we do spoil our grandson, yes, with the normal amount of sweets that a lot of people do, I'm mixing this up as we're talking. I also try to get him, he drinks diet soda, like Diet Coke Zero, when he wants to have soda, and he'll drink water if he has to. Still haven't gotten him to eat vegetables that much yet, but we're working on it. He'll eat a little bit of a salad from time to time, or other vegetables if he has to. He doesn't like have to. That's the big catch. He doesn't want to have to, but we try to get him to take them whenever we can. Sneak them in to smoothies or shakes, and he has no idea. So this here, I'm getting ready to pour it all in here, and I am going to place it in. Have to move everything here. I'm not organized, as you can tell, but I'm semi-organized in a way that I can understand. I want to do this because I want to sit it in the sink, because it does seem like doing it like this might make it a little messy. You can always pour everything in as you're doing it using your measuring cup and your bottles or your water. But I wanted to mix it all up together first. And yes, I do. It says to strain your beets, the beet juice out. I tend to like the flavoring of having the beets put in there with them and all the beet juice. I like beets as it is. And yes, my hands are clean, y'all. I've been keeping them clean, just getting everything fixed here. Not want to come out, so let's just turn them over. And there we go. What a mess, what a mess, what a mighty fine mess. But then you put them in there. That's so beautiful. Got my lid. And I had my towel here, and it has disappeared. So you have your jar of pickled eggs with beets, and you'll leave it in the fridge. Shake it up a little bit, get some of those vegetables in there, the beets mixed up with it. You'll leave it in the fridge for a week to 2 weeks, preferably so it can really start to ferment and get that flavor really embedded into your eggs. If you really wanted to, you can probably try them within the first 24, 48 hours. And they're still already going to have some flavor. But me personally, I like to try to wait just a little while in order to let it really get put in that. Let it really soak in. And you stick it in your fridge, and there you go. And anytime you want a healthy snack to go to, grab you 1 or 2 eggs, and they're mostly sugar-free, other than sugar that's actually normally comes with your eggs. And the sugar that comes in your beets, they have 8 carbs in each serving, and there's 3.5 servings. No added sugars. It does have 6 total sugars from the beets themselves per serving. So the juice from it is going to get in there, but as far as the sugar that's from the beets, they will probably soak into it some. Eat them accordingly. Using the sweetener minimizes a lot of the carbs and the insulin spike that you would get from eating them if they had just regular sugar in them. So I hope you enjoyed our video today on how to make pickled beet eggs. We'll be posting again soon. If you like our videos, please leave us a comment. Tell us if you try it and if you like them, or if you have a different recipe that you like. Don't forget to go to tasteofhome.com and get a copy of their pickled eggs with beets recipe. Don't forget that if you want it the same way that I did, use some kind of sweetener instead of the sugar. And if you use more than 12, like is in there, double it, 1.5, 3 times, whatever it is that you make. Make sure you do that with your other ingredients as well. I hope you enjoyed our video today, and I will see y'all soon. Thanks for being a subscriber, and thanks for watching our videos. Till the next time, bye y'all.